Good morning, y'all. I just scared my dog. I have my dog asleep in my lap, so we'll see how that goes. Or she was asleep in my lap until I talked. Um, yeah, I just wanted to hop on and sort of speak to some of the energy that I feel moving through the group and maybe offer a little meditation to sort of drop in and work whatever pieces are keeping you from experiencing this. Shift in your life and who you are. There is obviously a part of you that is tired of having anxiety and meditation and anxiety and meditation, anxiety and depression, and having it be such a negative factor in your life, right? Having it be the thing that keeps you from having experiences that you want, from having the relationships that you want, the connections that you want, from being able to go after your desires, from being able to feel like a whole normal human. And yeah, there's a part of you that's also like really afraid of that, right? Because you know how to be anxious or depressed or both. I mean, I was both. And it's a rare human that I've ever met that's not anxious or depressed, and most of us have a combination of both. We all just hide it in different ways, and we're all at different levels of awareness with it, I guess. I haven't worked with a single woman who didn't have one or the other. And so I first want to just out that and let you know that, like, you're not some isolated freak, right? Like, in a world full of normal people, and you're just the one human on this earth that's like messed up, right? Like, you're flawed or damaged. There's a way that, like, fear likes to tell us that, right? All of these pieces that cause our anxiety and that feed our anxiety and our depression. It's really easy to believe that everyone else kind of knows what they're doing and we're the only ones that are figuring it out as we go, which is so not true. And what I love about holding events like this is when you get a room full of women together and you get them opening up and talking in a way that's like honest and authentic and real, which, don't worry, if you don't know how to do that, it kind of flows naturally from this work. And you don't have to be the one to share. What I notice is when there's one person who finally like just takes that leap and opens her mouth and shares what's on her heart, everyone in the room softens, and everyone in the room can see themselves in her, and she can see them being a match to her experience. And all that fear of like, oh my God, if I open up my mouth and I talk about this thing and I say this, like, will I sound dumb? Will I sound crazy? Will they understand me? Suddenly she's met with all this understanding, all this compassion, all this love, and she can remember that, like, she's not the one rare fucked up human walking around on this planet full of perfect or normal people. And it gives everyone in the room permission to be themselves. And it's probably my favorite thing doing this work, whether it's in a group of women online or in a bigger group in person. One person being willing to share can really change everything. And so I know there is a part of you that is really afraid of being with people, especially being with people in a way that is real and unmasked or unedited or raw. I totally understand. Social anxiety crippled me for most of my life. I still have a hunch from the way I used to walk around in high school, like, please don't look at me. And there's a part of you that knows that you're not alone, that you're not going to be the one showing up and as less than the other women. You're not walking into a room full of a different breed of human than you. You're walking into this event for anxiety and depression. So everyone there has at least some level of anxiety or depression. Like, we're all there because we're all feeling these things. Even I still am working through anxiety and depression. I don't think it's a thing that goes away. I think it's a thing that we learn to recognize and manage and create a more full way of living. So my life has become much more full, much more positive, but not only positive. I still have fear. I still have anxiety. I still have grief. There's just room for it. I've made room for it in my life, and I've made room for a new experience also. I've made room for peace. I've made room for sisterhood and friendship. I've made room for love. I've made room for magic. And that's what it's about. That's what we're going to be working on, is just making room for a new experience to contribute to your life. You're not having to like squash the part of you that is afraid, or lock away the part of you that's anxious, or pull her from your body and be done with her forever. I know some of you might want that. Please don't try to do that. Because what it is this part of us that is still frozen in fear from childhood and is like so afraid because she's put all these protections in place, right? Like your nonstop anxious thoughts are protecting you from being fully alive. There's a part of you, this sweet, little, innocent, tiny girl who is protecting you from, you know, maybe going out and trying the thing and failing. Or she's protecting you from trying to connect with someone and being rejected. She's protecting you from living a more full life because she believes that being herself is wrong or bad or scary or not allowed. And so I just want to honor that part of you, you know, and note that she doesn't usually show up so clearly and plainly. It's like, oh, I'm so afraid of being rejected, so we're not going to go to this event. You know, fear disguises itself in so many tricky ways. One of the biggest ways that you would never expect is like boredom or like dismissal. You know, if something like keeps showing up and you're like, nah, I don't need that. I'm not worried about that or whatever. You know, you just feel very nonchalant about it. Usually when something's not for you, you don't feel very nonchalant about it, right? Another way fear can show up is busyness. And I find for us women, that's our go-to. If we're so busy doing the things, you know, momming, working, taking care of the house, whatever, then we have this built-in perfect excuse to not do the things that we desire, to not be who we truly are. Because, I mean, look around, I'm just so busy. You know, Monday nights I catch up on laundry. I can't come. You know, and it may be more complicated than that. Maybe you're a single mom and arranging time to be here is going to be difficult. You know, your logical brain is like, no, I logically just don't understand how I can make it. But if you feel called to be here, if something about this lights you up or recognizes your potential in it, then I invite you to consider that your efforts to be there will be met. You know, like whatever you put into this, you can receive. So if it means having no idea how you're going to make it work, but you know you want to, like that can be enough. And knowing that you're also afraid, that's fine too. You know, you don't have to go and fix yourself to finally have the things that you want and to experience the things that you want. You don't have to be totally fixed, right? You're not a problem to be fixed. You are this really beautiful, complex, intelligently designed soul having a very, very human experience. And you're not a problem to be fixed. You're meant to be met with curiosity and wonder and openness. And that's my goal. That's the space I want to hold for you. It's just this new, curious experience of yourself and what you may or may not be capable of. You know, let yourself surprise yourself. And that's the good thing about spring. It's like that morning energy, right? It's that awakening after deep sleep or coming back to life after a winter of purging. I know if you have felt like the past 5 months or so have been just a lot of purging, a lot of being in the void, a lot of just having no idea what to do and just feeling like you have to wait on your desires. Well, good news. It is spring, it's March, it's time to start waking back up. It's time to start coming back to life. And it's time to start creating that experience that you really want to have. And I know you really want to have it, because you wouldn't still be listening if you didn't. You wouldn't be reading about this event if you didn't. You wouldn't be considering this event if you didn't desperately, truly, deeply desire a new experience of life. And so in exchange for your $17-ish a week and your hour-ish a week to show up, and whatever efforts it takes for you to be able to carve out that time or to ask for the money for yourself, I get it. Especially as a mom, it's so hard to ask for money to spend on yourself. It's so hard to ask for time by yourself. And it's so, so hard to believe that it's going to be valuable and worth it. That you're valuable and worth it. And I promise that you taking that leap of faith on yourself, you choosing, yes, I desire this, and yes, I'm fucking terrified in so many ways, and I'm still going to trust this part of me that knows I can have a new experience, that knows that life is ready to open up for me, that knows I'm ready to receive good things. I'm going to trust this part of me, and although I may not mentally or logically know how I'm going to make it work, I'm deciding now in this moment in my body that I'm going to be there and that I'm going to have this experience for myself. And you'll notice as soon as you start to do that, something starts moving in you. Pieces of you relax and other pieces of you start coming back to life. And maybe you find yourself walking a little taller, or driving with your shoulders out of your ears more, or just feeling that sense of trust in your body. And then life will start to arrange itself, and you will either get an idea of a thing you hadn't thought of, maybe a way to go quickly make you some money, or maybe someone offers to take the kids for you. Like maybe your mother-in-law reaches out and is like, hey, I've been missing the kids. Like, I'd like to see them more often. You'd be like, great, Mondays at 6:30 would be wonderful. You never know what's going to happen. Like just hopping on for this, so I'll share with you a little bit about my fear process for the sake of authenticity, right? I've been waking up early, like 5-ish, to do yoga and pray and move my body and just sort of arrive in myself before I start my day, or before Gus starts his day, my little 5-year-old, and before we do the morning busyness. And it's been amazing. I've been so much more available. I can feel so much more energy moving through me. I can hold a bigger space. Like I can tell it's making me a bigger version of myself, a more grounded, stronger version of myself. And it's bringing me to exactly where I want to be. And there are parts of me that are kicking and screaming about it, that are so afraid, that make it really hard to wake up, that make it really hard to do the thing, that trick me into thinking like, oh, you have a lot more fear to come sit with before you start moving forward, right? Like, okay, well, you can't, in a minute you'll be able to open up, right? But now I need you to sit here and wallow with me. And I've had to start really leaning on that part of me that knows how to do this, that knows how to wake up at 5 a.m. and exercise and pray and value herself, that knows how to choose herself at 5 a.m. And so, yeah, it was hard. I did not want to get up, but I also knew I wanted to come on live in here this morning before I had to go get my little boy, which I leave around 7. And I slept until 6:15-ish, whatever. But so I'm up and I'm moving, I put on some music, and I'm feeling like, oh yes, I remember who I am, I remember what I'm here to do, and like I'm so ready to do it. And then I pull out my phone to do the live, and of course all the fears come in, right? What if you sound like an idiot? What if people actually don't give a shit, right? Like I could list them all. I could sit here for another 10 minutes and just tell you every fear I have. And instead it's like I hear you. I hear you, scared little girl in my heart who's so afraid of X, Y, and Z. And thank you so much for trying to protect me. And I'm going to do this because I want to. Like, I want to go live. I want to start connecting with the women that I'm going to be holding space for. Like, I want to do this. And it's okay that you're scared, and we're going to do it. And you're going to be safe. Can you trust me? We don't dismiss fear or shame fear or belittle fear. We invite her to the table. We give her a seat. We make her feel heard and valued let her know we care about her. And then we ask her to trust us. Can you trust me? And usually that inner child just needs to know that there's an adult at the wheel, that she's not driving. She's like, oh, I'm not steering the ship. Then fine, yeah, I trust you. Take over, please. I'm too little to be doing this. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so then when the adult, the more evolved piece of you takes over and decides, yeah, we're going to do this thing and it's going to be safe and magic. I'm going to get some magic out of it. She relaxes. And then I'm about to click the button to go live and I get a text that I actually don't have to go pick up my little boy until 9. And one of my fears this morning was about not having time to work because he's off of school, and I was just feeling all kinds of just restriction and contraction and tension about like not having time to work. So, sorry, I'm getting some messages. So I got that message right after I decided to do the thing, right after I decided to choose myself and to choose what I want. So don't underestimate that life will show up for you once you decide that it will, once you decide that it's safe. And I invite you to get a piece of paper and write down, like, what do you want in exchange for your efforts of arriving and landing in this space, for coming to these workshops? What do you want in exchange for your $65? What do you want in exchange for your 4 hours of time? Or even the hours that it's going to take you to get there and back from home, and the time that you'll spend during the week integrating what we learned together on those Monday nights. And what do you want in exchange for your efforts of making it happen? Who do you want to be on the other side of it on April 1st, or April 2nd, we'll say the day after you finish? Who do you want to be in April? How do you want to feel in April? And can you trust that your soul is giving you the tools and the container and the space and the people that you need to have that experience, to be able to grow and evolve into who you know you can be, and to have the life you know you can have? So no, we're not here to get rid of anxiety and depression with meditation. We're here to make space for it, to befriend it, and to invite in room for the things that you desire. Because you can have them while you're anxious. You can have them while you're depressed. So this was longer than I expected. Thank you for hanging with me. If anyone has any questions, I am totally available. I do recommend that you message me through Balanced Roots, or comment here on this video, because I just found some messages in my message request folder this morning from a few days ago. So yeah, I'm available though. If you want to chat, reach out, and I'll be sending you so much love. Also, registration does close on Saturday, so there are only a few more days to sign up and pay. And I would really, 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 really love to have a room full of women. Like, that would just light my heart on fire in a good way. And I want that for you. I want you to have the experience of being in a room full of women who are a match to what you feel, who make you feel like you're not wrong, who can remind you that you're enough, and who can see you and see themselves in you. I feel like that would just be so powerful and so magical, and I deeply, deeply desire that for all of us. So tell your friends, share the event page, remind your friends to sign up, and I will see you guys on Monday. Sending you so much love.